morning, my fighters. Happy yoga day. So I'll give you guys a minute or like a few minutes to just a couple of you to jump on. Let me know that you can hear me. Make sure my volume's up. So as you pop on, say hello. And find a mat and yourself. So good morning, guys. Happy Sunday. It's going to be really nice out today. I think it's going to be even nicer on Tuesday. So, good morning. Yet another fire until I run out of wood. And then there'll be no more fires and we'll move it outside. So, what I want us to do this morning, hello, Julie. Go ahead and find a place on your mat. It's super easy, super stretchy yoga day. If you have any type of band, it could even be a t-shirt. You could take a t-shirt and do the exact same thing. So you just need possibly a band for the end of class and yourself in a mat. So find your place on the mat, and we're going to start you can actually start however you want. You can start in child's pose. Good morning, Alicia. You could start in child's pose. You could start seated. It just really depends what feels most comfortable to you. So if you have blocks too, grab those as well. So we're going to come down to our mat. I'm going to take a quick drink of coffee because that's about all I got this morning. And we're going to come down to our mat. So I want you to find a place. I'm actually going to slide this over to the side. Otherwise, I can't tell if you guys can see me. So I'm going to find a space. And I'm either going to be knees wide with toes touching, or I'm going to be knees together and be a little closer. I prefer knees wide because I can get into my hips a little bit more and move a little bit from side to side. So let's just start off bringing our arms down, finding a nice child's pose, gently moving your hips from side to side. If you find you're really tight and you can't get your head to the floor, or you want something that's going to be a little bit more supportive, you can take a block and place your forehead on the block. And I'm just going to move side to side, settle into my space. And as I find that space, I'm going to take a deep breath in through my nose. I'm going to exhale out through my mouth. And I'm just going to take these first few moments to settle into my body. Settle into my breathing. And just start to allow all those thoughts in your mind to just simply come in one ear and out the other, and just allow yourself to relax your mind as much as you're starting to allow your body to relax. Deep breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. And just allow that breath to come down into your belly. Move your hips if you need to, and just try to settle into the rhythm of your breath. And noticing what feels really good today, what might need a little attention today. And that might only be your breath. Your body might feel great, and your breath might feel a little anxious. It gets that way sometimes when we're stuck at home and we can't go do all those things that we want to do. So just allow yourself to take this hour for yourself. Find 3 more deep breaths in, and really slow inhales, really slow exhales. And after that third exhale, I want us to rise up, bring our knees underneath our hips, or maybe slightly between hip and shoulder. And I'm going to go side to side and find those little stretches in my wrist. And then I'm going to come gently forward, find the stretch in my wrist forward as well. And then we're going to take a moment to sit back on our heels. So sit back on your heels. We're gonna roll those shoulders up and back. You can roll one shoulder, you can roll the other shoulder, you can roll them both. You can also roll them forward. Just kind of depends what feels good to you. And just kind of check in and see how your body feels today. Sometimes we don't sleep the best. Sometimes we get a little kink in our neck. Bring those arms all the way up. Gently go from side to side. Don't ever force anything. Just go to the edge of what feels really good. Sometimes we like to interlace our hands and go side to side. Just do what feels best to your body. Bring the arms down and then bring them all the way back up again. So arms are straight up, and then you're gonna bend your arms like a goalpost. Bring those elbows in towards your midline. And then we're gonna bring it back to center. Bring the arms down. We're gonna go side to side with our head and neck. You can even help it a little bit and get that little added extra stretch in the neck. You might get a couple cracks and pops. Just be really slow about it, really mindful about it. Then you're gonna bring it back to center. We're gonna go chin to chest. Take my right hand to the back of my head, gently pull my chin towards my chest to feel that stretch in between my shoulder blades. I'm gonna release my hand. I'm gonna look all the way up to the ceiling. I might open my mouth and close my mouth to get that nice stretch. And then I'm gonna bring it back to center. I'm gonna look at the right corner of my mat. I'm gonna go chin to chest, take my right hand behind my head, gently pull down. You feel the stretch in your left shoulder blade. Take a deep breath into your nose. Exhale out to your mouth. Bring it all the way back up. Left corner of your mat. You're looking at the left corner, chin to chest, left hand to the back of your head. Gently pull down. Feel this in your right shoulder blade. You might feel one more than the other, and that's okay. Bring it back to center. Roll it all the way around, halfway. Whatever feels good to you. Then bring it back to center. You're going to go ahead and come into a tabletop. So you're going to find a nice box, right? And you're not going to be like this, and you're not going to be like this right now. We're going to find neutral. And I'm going to have my knees a little wider than my hips. And I'm gently just going to take my left hand to the outside of my mat. I'm going to bring my hips over to the left and find that stretch in the inner thigh. And then I'm going to bring it over to the right. I'm going to roll that arm up. I'm going to find that nice stretch. I'm going to thread it through, but I'm going to be mindful of how I place the back of my hand, back of my arm, back of my shoulder. Find that nice little T-spine stretch. And then we're going to bring it back up. And we're going to do that 2, 3, 4 times, whatever feels best to you to find that absolute best body position for you, to find that really awesome stretch. So once you find that, you're going to ground into the back of your right hand. My head's going to come down to the floor. And then I'm going to take my left arm and I'm going to bring it high to the sky. I might bind it and bring it behind me. I might reach for my right thigh and then open that shoulder up. We get in a twist. Our breathing wants to go straight up into our chest. So really try to keep your breathing down into your belly. And think about finding the edge of that stretch. Find 2 or 3 breaths here. You're going to release that hand if it's bound. You're going to bring it back down. You're going to come back to center. We might cat-cow once or twice. And just go with the movement and the speed that feels good to you. We're now going to take that right hand to the outside of your mat. Hips are going to come over to the right. I get the stretch in the inner left thigh. Then hips are coming over to the left. I'm going to bring that arm up. I'm going to thread it through. Back of hand, back of arm, back of shoulder. Find that nice little T-spine stretch. Then inhale, bring it back up again. Exhale, thread it through. One more time, bring it back up. And then thread it through. So back of hand, back of arm, back of shoulder. Set yourself up so you can take that right arm and might go here. It might go against my low back sacrum. I might reach over for my left quad and open up that shoulder. So don't let that shoulder round down. Externally rotate that shoulder. Open that shoulder up. Find 2 or 3 breaths here. Bring that arm all the way back up when you're ready. Place it all the way down. Come back to center, cat-cow. Now before we go into a down dog, I want you to sit back on your heels, and we're going to do a version of eagle pose arms with no legs. So I'm going to bring my arms up. I'm going to show you from this position. We've done this one. You're going to take your right arm underneath your left. You're going to wrap it any which way you can. And then you're going to pull those fingers towards you, pull those arms in towards you, and find a nice stretch in your back. So the goal here is to find this nice position so we're not rounded. So bringing those fingers down and spreading those shoulders wide to find a nice stretch. And then we're going to release. We might roll the shoulders a couple times. And then I'm going to take that left arm underneath my right, and I'm going to hug, bring my shoulders back and down and hug those fingertips in. Find a nice stretch in my back. And I might release and come back down just to find a nice little stretch. Release the arms, roll them out. And then you're going to curl your toes. You're going to bring your hips up and back, and you're going to find that awesome down dog and see how you feel. So, walk it out and see what feels good to you. See how those hips feel. See how those calves feel. See how those hamstrings feel. Maybe pick up your hands and place them down. Spread your fingers wide and just check in with your down dog, because this can be really a full body stretch. And now I'm going to bend my knees. My gaze is going to go forward. I'm going to step, hop, jump, float, do whatever I need to do. Fingertips to shins, we're going to lengthen up. Ribs in and up like a straight leg deadlift. Exhale and fold. So check in. Maybe I'm to the floor, maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm needing to use blocks, and I'm needing to bend my knees and find a little space in my body. So if I'm not quite here yet, and you got something, even books, blocks, something you can do to elevate yourself till we can get yourself down there. Now you're going to bend your knees, ground into your feet, roll all the way to standing, squeeze the glutes, bring it all the way up. Now is where you go where you want to go. You don't have to just stay in mountain pose. You can roll it all the way around. Whatever feels best to you. My fave is coming here. Part of the joint by joint that we used to do in class. So we're going to exhale. We're going to bring it all the way back down. Fingertips to shins. Lengthen up. So give me that halfway lift. Think about being in a deadlift position with straight legs. Plant your hands down. Step back. Hop back. Jump back. High to low. So this is where you want to find either a really awesome up dog where you're not compressing your low back, or maybe you're down here in more of a sphinx pose, lengthening those legs out. Whatever feels best to your body. We're just getting moving and checking in today. Then curl your toes, bring those hips up and back. Find that down dog, walk it out. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. On this next deep breath in, I want you to come up on your tippy toes, almost like you're coming into a cat position in your down dog, and then press your heels and your hips back towards the back of the room. Take a deep breath in, and then rise up on those tippy toes. Exhale, press the heels towards the back. Press your palm of your hand, start to press those heels back. Bend your knees, gaze goes forward, step, hop, jump, float. Fingertips to shins, we're gonna lengthen up. Exhale, we fold. Bend both knees, ground into your mat, roll all the way to standing, gentle little squeeze, go where you want to go. And just go with your movement. What feels good to you today? And then exhale, we're gonna fold all the way back down. We're gonna bend and move as much or as little as we need. And then we're gonna go legs straight, fingertips to shins. Lengthen yourself out. Keep those ribs in and up. Then plant your hands down, step back, hop back, jump back, high to low. Whatever works for you. Just find something that feels good. Don't let the shoulders round forward. Bring them back. And then meet me in down dog. Bend your knees again. Step, hop, jump, float. Fingertips to shins. Lengthen up. Exhale, fold. Maybe we're getting a little closer. Maybe we're still bending, and that's okay. Bend your knees, ground into the floor, roll all the way to standing. And go where you want to go. Who I all got on here? Hello, hello, good morning. Okay. So we're actually going to do something kind of similar to what Chris did the other day because it's a really good one. So I want you to train track your feet. And I'm going to go from the side so you can see me. I'm going to train track my feet. And I'm going to bring it all the way up like this. And then press it back like this. A little flexibility highway this morning. After Chris did that yesterday, I was like, oh, this is a good one. So it's just like we would do almost with no arms raised in a low lunge. But this is getting my whole body. So we'll get to that low lunge. So if I'm back in a hinge position, I'm feeling this in the right hamstring. I'm up on the heel of my right foot. My arms are back. And then I'm going to come down on my front heel, raise back up, and find that nice little stretch. So let's do like 3 more on this side. Find the length up. Bring it all the way down. That heel comes up. Feels super good on the hamstrings. And once you got this third one on this side, then we're going to switch feet. So that felt really good. You didn't catch Chris's thing yesterday? This is a little flexibility highway. So I'm going to raise all the way up. And then I'm going to bring it all the way back down. So I'm going to come up on the back toe and then bring it on the left heel. And I'm keeping my ribs in. So I'm really trying to find that stretch right in that hamstring. And then find length all the way up through my body. 2 more. 1 more. Nice. Come to the top of your mat if you're not there already. All right, let's exhale. Let's fold it all the way down. Maybe we're getting a little further down to the floor now. Fingertips to shins, lengthen up. Plant your hands down, step back, hop back, jump back, whatever feels good to you, high to low. And just start to check in with how your body feels. And then start to connect your breath to that. Now, any which way you want to, you're going to bring that right foot to your right hand. I like to come forward into bear crawl. Lengthen my right leg high to the sky. Keep my ribs in and up. Keep my hips squared towards the floor. I come up on the tippy toe of my right or left foot. Bring that right knee in and up to my chest as I hop a little bit on my back foot. And then place down my right foot next to my right hand. If I don't make it, guys, just help it, okay? Lengthen out that back left leg. Drop down the knee and relax the back foot. So this is where if you got blocks, you can use blocks here. But we're going to really line up, think Samson stretch. So line up your right knee with your right heel and isolate that stretch in the left hip. And then hinge that hip back, just like we were doing on flexibility highway. This shouldn't be as bad now. And you're just going to come forward and back and find that nice stretch. Because we're going to open those hips up. And I might have given a slight clue to what we're doing for a balance pose if you saw my picture from yesterday. Now I'm gonna bring that leg back behind me. I'm gonna hip circle it if I need to. I'm gonna curl my toes and find my down dog again. So now from here, you guys, same thing with the left foot. You can either lengthen that leg up, bring it through, and find here, or you can have a little fun and bring that left leg into your chest. Lengthen your arms, lengthen your left leg high to the sky. Keep your ribs in and up. Step your hands back if you need to. Get you a nice stretch in the calf. Come up on the tippy toe of the right. Bring that left knee in and up to your chest, to your hands. From here, I'm going to shimmy that back leg down so I have a nice big stretch. I'm going to bring down my knee, relax my back foot, line up my left knee with my left heel as I press into that stretch into that right hip flexor. So if you have a block or a book, you could be here. And then I'm going to hinge it back and find that flexibility highway stretch without standing. And you're going to come forward and you're going to come back at your pace with your breath. And you might need 3 of these, you might need 4 of these, you might need more of those. It just really depends on what your body feels like today. But we want to find that nice stretch and connect that with your breath. Now when you're ready, you're going to bring that leg back behind you. You might hip circle, just depends how your hips feel. You might bend the knee, bring it up a little bit. And then I'm going to curl my toes. I'm going to bring my hips up and back again. And I'm going to walk it out. And then I'm going to bend my knees. Gaze is going to go forward. Step, hop, jump, float. Fingertips to shins. Lengthen. Exhale, fold. Maybe we're getting a little closer. Maybe we're touching the ground. Bend your knees. Roll yourself all the way to standing. Gentle little squeeze. Go where you want to go. Hopefully we're starting to loosen up a little bit. Wherever works for you. And then we're going to exhale. We're going to fold back down. Fingertips are going to come to shins. We're going to lengthen up. Plant your hands down. Step back, hop back, jump back. Whatever works for you, high to low. Ease up into that position. And just settle into those hips. Bring the shoulders back. Curl your toes. Bring your hips up and back. Find that down dog. Walk it out. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to bring that right leg forward to our hands. So I'm going to come forward into bear crawl. I'm going to lengthen that leg high to the sky. I'm going to square my hips so they're not open. They're to my mat. And then I'm going to come up on the tippy toe on my left. Right knee's going to come in and up to my chest, to my hands. Nice. Now I'm going to bring that back knee down again. But now what I'm going to do is rise up. And I'm going to relax that back foot. So I don't want to look like this. I want to think about squeezing this glute here. If I need a block, I got a block. But what I'm going to do is keep this left glute squeezed. Have my right leg at 90 degrees. I'm going to bring up my left arm. And I'm going to lengthen that arm up. I'm going to have the elbow by the ear. I'm going to lengthen that arm up and feel that stretch from my knee all the way up into my arm. And then I'm going to bring my other arm up. And I might gently go side to side. Just depends. I don't go really fast. I just find the edge of that stretch in my hip. And I might gently go from side to side. Now, I'm going to stabilize here. Take my left hand to the outside of my right knee. See how my shoulders aren't square now? I'm going to square my shoulders forward. So that means what happens, I'll come this way. If I'm here, I have my own lane. My shoulder will come forward. So I'm going to push that shoulder back and be holding on with just tippy toes. So my shoulders are square. I'm going to keep this, not let my knee come in, and then take my right arm up. And then I'm going to keep the tension between my left fingertips and right knee. I'm going to bring my arm down and follow it over here. So when I do that right here and I keep the squeeze of my glute and the tension against my knee, I have a nice stretch in my left hip, right shoulder. So sometimes people like to turn the pinky out, swoop it down as big as you can, as close as you can. Or sometimes my son likes to air guitar any which direction you want to go. But you can also see if you're going way out here and how the mobility is with your shoulders. So if you need to roll, or you can simply stay here. All right, we're gonna break that hip, hinge that hip back, find a stretch in the hamstring of the right. And then you're gonna bring this leg back behind you. You're gonna hip circle. And then what we're gonna do is bring up the other leg. I'm gonna do it from this direction. So we're not gonna do it all fancy, we're just gonna bring that leg up. Back leg, foot is down, heel is down. I'm gonna think about squeezing that right glute. That quad fires a little bit, don't want that knee to go in. I'm gonna bring up my arm first. Lengthen on this side, so fingers all the way down to that knee without pushing out like that. Think about finding length up. Then bring that other arm up to meet it. And we might gently move side to side, where I gently find the stretch here. I might interlace my hands. Might not get as far on the other side, that's okay. Might bring my hand to right below my elbow and gently pull over from side to side, but never forcing our body into a position it doesn't want to go into. We got to earn that. Now, I'm going to bring it back down. I'm going to take my right hand to the outside of my knee. See how my shoulder comes forward? That's why I want to square it back and use the fingertips of my right arm to keep myself here without pulling that knee in. And then I'm going to bring up my left arm. So this one I might come down forward and then open up. I might follow it. If you follow that hand, you get a nice little stretch. I haven't done this one in a long time. Now, you can also, just like I was saying, you can turn that pinky out, biggest circle you can make, as close to your body. So I have my palm facing in. I'm going to turn my pinky out, externally rotate, and then biggest circle I can make, back to center. Or I air guitar it, depending on how it feels, or I'm right here. But I'm keeping, not letting that knee come in, I'm keeping that position. And then I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to find that little stretch back in the hamstring. And then I'm going to bring that leg behind me. I might hip circle. And then I'm going to down dog. So curl my toes, bring my hips up and back. Find that really awesome triangle. Walk it out. Ribs in. Bend your knees. Gaze goes forward. Step, hop, jump, float. Fingertips to shins, lengthen up. Exhale, fold. Maybe we're getting a little closer, maybe we're still needing to bend, and that's okay. Bend your knees, ground into the floor, roll all the way up to standing, gentle little squeeze, go where you want to go. Hopefully we're starting to loosen up a little bit. Grab a drink of water if you need it. Man, it's already 9:30. Woo! Okay. So we're gonna come to the top of our mat. Woo-hoo-hoo. This fire gets warm in here. Pretty soon we'll be taking it outside. We'll get morning outdoor yoga. I got a backyard. Okay, so I'm gonna bring my arms all the way up. I'm gonna find a nice little stretch. Maybe I'm doing a little mini back bend now and finding a really awesome stretch. Exhale, we're gonna fold it back forward. Fingertips to shins, you guys. Lengthen up, bring those shoulders back, keep those ribs in. Plant your hands down. You're gonna step back, hop back, jump back. Whatever feels good to you. If you hop back, think about keep hopping to that solid plank. Lower all the way down. Sphinx, up dog, cobra. Whatever feels best to your body. I get to this position and I like to kind of lengthen my legs back and I lengthen my torso up. Curl your toes, bring your hips up and back, find that down dog. Now take a minute to bring your knees down as wide as you want. Big toes to touch, find that child's pose again. Gently move those hips from side to side. See if you notice a difference from just a little bit ago. Now, 2 more slow, deep breaths. As you exhale, send those hips back towards the back of the room. Lengthen your fingers and arms forward. Walk your hands back. Come back to a tabletop. Cat-cow once or twice. Then place your hands just about a step forward. Curl your toes. Find your down dog. Walk it out. Bend your knees. Gaze goes forward. Step, hop, jump, float. Or maybe you're working on Shakti kicks and you do a little hops. Fingertips to shins, lengthen up. You can always throw that in if you're feeling good. Exhale, fold. If your legs, or if you're able to touch the ground and you're getting a little closer, awesome. Bend your knees, ground into your feet, roll all the way to standing. Gentle little squeeze, bring that skeleton in line. Go where you want. Do what feels best to your body. Nice. Okay, grab water quick if you need it. Otherwise, we're going to step back into a lunge. So, half my hair pulled up. High lunge, because it's great for hips. If you notice, we need to get our hips open, and I'm kind of mixing up how we usually do it. So, I'm going to go right here. I'm going to step back with, remember this is my only pose I do with the left side first. I'm going to step back with the left. Why, I don't know. I'm going to find my balance first, because that seems to be the hardest part. I'm train tracking my feet, and when I lock this back leg straight, my pelvis locks. So we're going to fix that. We're going to bend that knee. So I'm going to bend that knee. I'm going to move my pelvis. So I'm just going to squeeze my butt, bring my ribs in, lengthen that leg up. Now I'm going to send the heel back, but I'm not going to let that heel touch. This is where if I want to get deeper into the front, I'll bring my toes forward and I'll keep this tall position here. So don't let yourself overextend. Keep that glute. If you need to reset yourself, that's where you just bend the knee, fix your pelvis, lengthen up, send that heel back, but don't touch the heel, and find that deep stretch. So if you're like, whoo, can't handle this, you bend the knee to step out of this. If you can handle it and you can keep your pelvis, your arms can come here, your arms can come here, you can come forward. If you start to feel like you're rocking on that right foot, ground into your big toe. Find that stretch, keep the ribs in. Bend the knee, step it forward. Ooh, hip circle it. We're gonna need that. Ooh. You don't realize how tight that is until we go into that position. So now, I'm gonna step back. I should do this on the same side. Step back with my right leg. Right leg's right there. So if I stay here, I'm going like this, and I will feel that over time. So I want to think about bending that back knee, setting myself up. So keeping this position, lengthen up. Send the heel back. Find the stretch. Woo, in that right hip flexor. Ground into your left toe, the left big toe if you're losing your balance. Keep those ribs in. If you can, arm comes up. Send the heel back, find that stretch, but do not touch the floor. If you need to distract yourself, if you follow your hands, this will become way more of a balance. Just kind of depends what feels good to you to find that stretch in that right hip flexor. Nice, bring the hands down to heart center, bend that back knee, step it forward, hip circle it out. Nice, guys. How are hips feeling? Hopefully good. If your hips feel good, give me some hearts, some likes. Tell me how you feel, because that's always important, right? Okay, so we're opening up hips. I hope our hips are feeling a little bit more loose, like we can move, because we're gonna need that later. We're gonna bring our arms up again. We're gonna exhale, we're gonna fold it down. Notice how my back's nice and flat, almost like the beginning part of a sit to stand, all right? And then we're gonna keep our legs straight. We're gonna lengthen up. So I like to show this one because a lot of times we do this. So actually, let's do this quick. So you guys, do this. When you come up to a half lift, keep your palms on your shins and try to lengthen your torso. You can't, can ya? Nope. So if I go fingertips on my shins, I can relax and bend my elbows, and then lengthen and press through my fingertips and find length through my torso, and my head's looking at the floor. And that's kind of a fun one because you can relax and then lengthen your body out almost like a little bit of a snake. Then plant your hands down, step back, hop back, jump back, high to low. Find whatever feels good to you. Maybe that's an up dog. Maybe you're down here with a Sphinx pose. Whatever doesn't compress your low back and feels good to you. Then curl your toes, bring those hips up and back, find that down dog and walk it out. This is where it's important to keep those ribs in and up. Too much, I see this. And this is why we have low back pain, because we're pushing our ribs to the floor. So think about squeezing your butt, finding a line. So I'm trying to make a triangle. And if I can make a triangle without pushing my ribs out, it's not going to affect my low back. Now, point is we're going to get right leg to our hands any which way we can. So I'm going to come forward into bear crawl, and then I'm going to lengthen my leg high to the sky. I'm going to come up on that tippy toe of the left, bring my right knee in and up to my chest, to my hands. The reason I do it that way, you guys, it's physics. Just get your body in a better position. So now we're going to come down here. I'm going to find that really long length. I'm going to lower down that back knee, and I'm going to walk my foot over. We've done this one in probably almost every class, but I do it because it's important. So what I want to think about first is not pushing out my right foot or my right knee. This is not going to go that way to get my elbow to the floor. I'm going to go wherever my elbow will allow me to go and my mobility will allow me to go. This is one you do it every single day. You will get to that floor faster. So I'm going to take a deep breath in, exhale, and I'm going to lower. And I might not get to the floor, and that's fine. I could get to the floor if I push it out, but that's not the point. The point is to try to inhale and connect your breath, exhale and get yourself lower. And if you're like, I'm already touching the floor, that's when, this is kind of how I gauge if my body is ready for this. So if I can't get my elbow to the floor, I might not go into this pose. Simply because my hips might not be ready for it. I might block myself up. I might press on my knee and open that hip to just gently. I'm not ever pushing anything to a point where it is painful. I'm pushing to the edge of a stretch and trying to keep really good body position in that stretch. So I'm going to breathe. Like even if you are like here still on your elbow, totally fine. If you're ready to come here and you want to come here, you totally can come here. But if you're like, I just want to stay with mobility with my elbow, you can certainly just stay there. So I'm just trying to find a nice little stretch in that left hip and to open that hip up. So I'm going to bring this leg back in. I'm going to bend and hinge my back left hip, and I'm going to find the stretch in my right hamstring again. So we're going to bring ourselves up. We're going to take that right leg at 45 degrees. So my right leg is going to be 45 degrees. We're going an inner thigh. My left leg is not directly underneath my hip. So if you look down and your knee is right there, I want you to move your left leg between hip and shoulder. So now you're a little wider because we want to focus our stretch on that inner right thigh. I want to keep my torso tall to start. I'm going to have a block if I need to, because what I'm going to do is stabilize with my left back toe. My heel, I'm on my heel of my right. And what I'm going to do is take a deep breath. On my exhale, I'm going to press back my left hip towards my heel and try to find that stretch in that inner right thigh. Now, I may, if I feel good enough, point my toe of my right as I come back. So we're trying to find a stretch in the inner right thigh. And you're stabilizing with your back toes. So how this looks from this side is I'm stabilizing with my back toe. I come forward, I'm not overextending. I'm pressing back and finding and isolating that stretch in the inner right thigh. And I'm going to find this maybe 2-3 times. I'm going to come in and out of this pose and try to find the edge of that stretch. And then I'm going to bring my leg back. I'm gonna curl my toes, and I'm gonna find my down dog again. So now I'm gonna do the same thing on the left side. I'm gonna bring my left leg into bear crawl, lengthen that left leg high to the sky. And then I'm gonna come up on the tippy toes of the right, bring the left knee in and up to your chest, to your hands. So now I'm gonna bring down that back knee. I'm gonna walk my foot over to the edge of that mat. If I need to readjust, I certainly can. I'm not pushing out this left hip or this left knee or this left foot. I'm coming 90 degrees with my elbow. I'm gonna take a deep breath in. Exhale. And I'm gonna go as far as I can. I don't get to the ground. I'm gonna inhale, I'm gonna come back up. I'm gonna exhale. And it might take me 3 or 4 times, 5 times. But if I can eventually get really close to the floor or that elbow to the floor, then I might open up that leg and ride the outer arch of my left foot. So I like to elevate myself a little bit, and then I might lower myself down. I might do a little twist, just depends on what feels good. And I'm just simply breathing. So I might have 2 blocks. They might come here. I might hang out for a minute and just simply relax my breathing back down. If you're like, whoo, I'm done in this position, then you can ease yourself back. Maybe find a child's pose if it feels good. I might gently move my hips from side to side. So those of you who have been in class, I used to call this the mom sway, but now I call it the mom, auntie, dad. It's the everybody sway. So if you've ever had any kids or you've been holding kids in a grocery store and you're standing in line and you do that little sway, it never goes away. But it's that little tiny movement that sometimes feels really good in the hips. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to hinge back my right hip. I'm going to find the stretch in my left hamstring, and I might feel like, ooh, that doesn't feel as bad as it did before. I'm going to set my blocks to the side, bring my leg behind me. We're going to hip circle each side for a second. And this is where a band might come into handy. It just depends. What we're going to do is, since this is going to play into what we're doing later, is if you bring one leg up and balance on one side and try to grab one foot, we're going to get into like a half dancer pose, because eventually we're going to go there. So if we're balancing on one hand here, woohoo, my right knee is more in the inside. So I move it to the center, and that way I can raise this leg up. I'm balancing on one side, and I might come here and try to touch my foot. I might not get there. I might just get here. And if I get here, that's okay too, because I want to see where I can get that leg. And then I'm going to bring this leg here. Now I might be able to grab that foot. I might not be able to. That's okay. Just want to see where we can get. You could also do this with a band around your foot. Same kind of way. You just take that band and you just come here. So if you needed a band, you could do it with a band too, but we'll do that when we get up into a dancer pose. So cat-cow once or twice. Curl your toes, bring your hips up and back. Bend your knees, gaze goes forward, step, hop, jump, float. Fingertips to shins, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Maybe we're getting further to the ground. Bend your knees, roll yourself all the way to standing, gentle little squeeze, go where you want to go. Okay. Ooh, perfect time for a balance pose. Grab water if you need. Let me know if your hips are open. So, give me hearts, likes, whatever. Angry faces if you're like, ow, Holly, that hurt. And just let me know how your hips feel. If your hips feel good, because we're going to do a balance pose, but I'm going to give you options for balance pose. Because some of you may need a chair. Some of you may not. Actually, I know some of you won't, because some of you do this a lot in class. So really anywhere in your house that you have something to possibly hold on to, okay? All right, so are we ready to do a little dancer? So I'm going to show you guys what full-on dancer looks like, and then I'm going to show you modifications into dancer. If you know dancer and you're like, ooh, I want to do this, then you just get going and do your thing. So Full-on dancer pose looks like this. Just like we've been practicing and thinking about finding balance, right? Finding this balance is super important and not just being like whatever, right? So I'm thinking about my big toe, my pinky toe, my center of my heel, and I'm evenly putting my weight there. What I'm going to do then is everybody grabs the back foot a little different. I know some people will grab the back foot with all their fingers. I place my thumb in the middle of the sole of my foot, and my knee comes out just a little bit because I know that's how my hips are. So see how this right here is hard enough? Big toe, pinky toe, center of your heel. Keeping your ribs in, arms come up. When I come forward, I'm also, it's like a bow and arrow. I'm pressing my fingers against my foot against my fingers. Don't fall. That's because I'm talking. I have a chair in front of me. So full dancer pose because I won't talk for a minute. Is here. If you fall, you just fall into fallen dancer pose, right? What I'd like you to try to work on, because, and if you need a chair, I'm going to show you this too with the chair, is trying not to just be like this. I see this a lot, and we don't extend that leg up. So think you want to lengthen the leg and your arm at the same time this arm's going forward. So make yourself into a bow and arrow. Now, let's say, you can try the right side. Let's say you need a modification, and you need something to hold on to. So I'm going to make sure that when I'm here, when I come forward, you know I'm holding onto a chair, that I'm not like this close to it. I want to have an extended arm. So I'm going to be here, and I'm not going to be able to touch it until I find this position. So I'm going to bring my hand back to my left foot, keep my ribs in, come forward, and now I can find here. I'll step this back so you guys can see it a little bit more. So try your right side, try it a couple times. Find this position first. Ribs are in, and I'm going to lengthen here. So you see how I can find this position with having my hand in a little balance. If I wanted, you can switch sides, to have a little bit, I'll do that on this side. So I'm going to take a band, any band I got, right? And I'm going to put it just around my feet. And I'm going to back up. That way, if I can't touch my foot, when I come forward, I can come here. Now, if you got stretchy enough bands and you can bring it to the chair, you can find this. And if it's stretchy, you can extend your leg too. Just kind of depends what feels good to you and what position you can get yourself into. But how the balance of this looks, think about finding this. I'm going to go find my one leg balance. I'm going to bring my hand back to my right hand back to my right foot. Squeeze my glute. Left arm comes up. And I become a bow and arrow. Keeping my ribs in. Trying to bring myself back down. Shake it out. Try that once more on each side. Ooh. Is that hard? Tell me if you're getting it. I know a few of you in here can get dancer pose. If your hips are not having it, you can always either come to a half standing pigeon with support, or you could do it with no support. So it's completely your choice. Just like you would do a pigeon if you're on the ground, or elevated like this. You could even be here. So if your hips were like, no way, Holly, they aren't ready for that, then you come here. Or you hold on to something and you come here. Okay? So whatever works for you. What Alicia said. Alicia's left is better than her right. You are going to notice that one side is going to probably be better than the other. If you guys happen to have, I haven't incorporated mobility balls into class yet because I know not all of you have it. If some of you guys have these, or if you need these, I actually have these and can mail them to you. So just get with me and message me if you need a set of mobility balls, but I can teach you a ton of stuff on that too. But what I want to do, find your hips, see how they feel, and we're going to find a pigeon pose because it's 9:50 and it's pigeon time. So you can find a pigeon a variety of ways. Okay, So some people like to find pigeon where we used to come forward and get all fancy, and we just want to come here. So some of you might be here. Some of you might be on your back with or without a band. So if I didn't have a band, and I don't want to be like this, right? So I want to think about flexing my left foot, and what I do is use that foot to pull in that right hip. So I could be here. I might release all the way down and then come all the way back in. I might be here. I might not be there yet. I might grab that t-shirt, band, whatever I got, and I might use that band as an extension of my arms. That way I can keep my back on the mat, keep my shoulders on the mat, and find that nice stretch. Or maybe we're right here, and that's totally acceptable and fine too. Just want to think about keeping your whole foot in line, lowering down, really pressing back into that hip. Maybe I'm walking from side to side. Whatever feels good to you. Or maybe you're just all the way down and you're chilling. Try not to keep your arms up. Try to relax your head and neck down, relax your arms, and just find that really good stretch in that hip. Whether it is on your back or not, it doesn't matter. You just want to find something that gets you that really awesome hip stretch. So deep breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. Let's see if I can do this with a different, smaller med ball. That one might work for me, I'm not sure. Might be too big. Nope, not necessarily. Okay, so if you're on your back, just because I know a lot of you in class like to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find that back leg, but I'm going to do this in a manner where I take my right hand to the inside of my right knee. So I go fingertips, hip, and back leg all come up at the same time, so I'm finding length. So imagine like you're in this position and you have a string attached to the ceiling and it attaches to your head. And when you lengthen up, it pulls everything up. So I'm going to go fingertips, hip, back foot. I'm right here. Now if I got a med ball, this is where that's too tall of a med ball. If I had a med ball and I was a guy, I could press into that med ball and it would stay there and I could find length up. If I can, I might grab here. I might bring that into the nook of my shoulder. I might come here. I might just touch my heel. I might grab that leg and that ankle and pull it in closer and then get my hands around it and now lengthen up. There's another way you can do this as well, bringing your hands over your head and trying to reach back for that toe. I'm not quite open enough for that, or you might just be here. So we're going to relax that back leg. We're going to find a down dog again. Or if you're on your back, you just simply switch sides. Okay, so left leg's coming in, however which way you want to. Lengthen back that pigeon. Settle into those hips. Maybe you want to come side to side. Maybe you just want to lower down. Maybe you want to find length through those fingertips and come up and then lower down. Or you're on your back, just simply switching legs, finding that stretch in the hip, relaxing the shoulders and breathing. And just slow your breathing down. Let all the thoughts that are coming into your mind, just simply let them go. You'll have plenty of time the rest of the day. This is the time for you to just relax your body, stretch your body, relax your mind, and let your mind relax as much as you've allowed your body to today. On your next exhale, you're going to rise up. So if you want to do this part, you can. If not, you don't have to. Fingertips of the left to the inner left knee. Lengthen up with that back leg. Go where you want to, or maybe you're here. There's a few of you that are here. There's a few of you that are just simply here. And there might just be touching the toe and getting here. So whatever works for you. You can even take a block if you got a block and press into that block and come here as well. Now, curl your toes, bring it back to down dog. If you're on the mat, just stay on the mat and take a really big stretch. We will end up there in a minute. So come forward into a plank, lower yourself down, find a nice up dog cobra, find some length down your spine, maybe gently move. Find your down dog again. Bend your knees, step, hop, jump, float, maybe a little mini handstand. And then stand all the way up, big old squeeze. Check in, see how things feel. What time is it? Okay, now what I want you to do is come down to your mat. So, all we're worrying about right now, because it is 9:57, the magic part of yoga is laying on the ground and doing nothing. It's corpse pose. You could also be in a child's pose. You could also have blocks and bolsters underneath you. You could have foam rollers underneath your legs, mobility balls wherever you want them. And what I want you to do is just find a place where you can take up as much space as you want. I want you to let go of every single part of your body. And let your arms go wherever you want. Let your legs go wherever you want. You don't have to be confined to your rectangle of a mat. I want you to find a place that's comfortable for you. So some people aren't comfortable here. Maybe you're comfortable here and your legs are coming out, or maybe your legs are bent. It doesn't matter. You just need to find a place where you can easily just let go of thoughts. Let your breathing settle back down into your belly. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. As you take another deep breath in through your nose, make that exhale 2-3 counts longer and really relax and let your body just relax onto the mat and the floor as much as you possibly can. And start to relax your feet and your toes, ankles, shins. Let your knees sink down to the mat. Settle into your pelvis, your low back. Take a deep breath in and notice the rise and fall of your belly and your breath. Soften your skin over your heart. Let down some of those walls and allow yourself to be open to giving love, receiving love, and seeing all the love around you and inside of you. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. Release your hands. Relax your fingers. Allow your fingertips to naturally just curl towards the palms. Settle into your forearms, elbows, upper arms. Soften your shoulders down from your ears. Release your jaw. Relax your throat. Allow your tongue to sit naturally on the roof of your mouth. Feel the weight of your body settling in to the back of your body. And feel your body expand. Feel the front and the sides of your body expanding into the air around you. And allow yourself to take up space. Enjoy that spaciousness that you created inside and all around you. And feel that connection you have to yourself, to the earth, and to other people. Even though we might not be in the same room, we're all still connected and sharing a practice together. We are connected in some way. We don't have to be in the same room to do that. So take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. Notice how amazing you feel. And on this last breath in, breathe in love for yourself. And breathe out love and kindness for others. So just take a deep breath in and just let everything go. Slowly start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And with your eyes closed, you can turn yourself to your right or your left side. You can curl up in the fetal position. Take a moment just to find your breath. Be mindful if there's anything underneath you, like foam rollers or anything like that. And then using the arm you're not using as a pillow, you're going to push yourself back up to a seated position. So the goal is always to feel a little better and a little more loose than when you started class an hour ago. So I hope we all feel amazing. I'm absolutely loving teaching yoga and continuing to teach yoga for you guys. So Sunday will always be stretchy. Thursday might be a little bit more flowy and a little bit more new things. But I hope we all feel amazing. I hope we feel good in our body, our mind, our heart, and our soul. And as I end every class, bring our hands to heart center. The light and teacher in me honors the light and teacher in each and every one of you. Namaste. Namaste at home. And until next time, guys, I had a lot of fun. I always do. I hope you guys feel great. And I'll see you guys on Thursday. So give me likes, hearts, tell me what you liked, tell me how you did, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye.